Hey guys, Prowl 1701 here, and today we're going to be reviewing the special edition of Tomb of the Cybermen. I'll start with part 4 and then talk about the story as a whole. I enjoyed part 4. I think it wraps everything up very nicely. Troughton has some great moments to shine. I really enjoyed when he starts praising the German guy for a second, and then the German guy's like, yes, I shall be ruler of the world, and then Troughton's just like, well, now I know you're nuts. I just wanted to confirm it, or whatever it is, or now I know you're mad. I just wanted to confirm it. The way Troughton does that line, I love it. It's fantastic. I really like Toberman in it. I know every now and then you'll see a young person online having issues with Toberman's character because they think it's a black stereotype. And, you know, I understand a little of what they mean since he's cast in kind of a servant role. But really, Toberman's character is done well, especially in part 4. Because not only is he able to break cyber control, because he is partway converted into a Cyberman, he's able to break that control. And then he saves them at least 3 times. He saves them from the cyber controller, when the cyber controller has the gun and he reaches and grabs him when he's by the hatch. He saves them when the doctor goes back down to refreeze the vault. And the one Cyberman who takes out the German guy, Toberman gets in a fight with that Cyberman and kills that Cyberman so the doctor can refreeze the vault. And he saves them at the end when he closes the doors, knowing it'll kill him doing it. He sacrifices himself because he realizes the Cybermen are evil. And I love his dialogue right there as he's closing the door and the cyber controller's trying to push it open saying, we will survive, we will survive. And Toberman's just like, you are evil. You will never get past Toberman. You know, the door is closed, or the way is closed. I love the way the actor playing Toberman delivers those lines. And I actually feel the way he is portrayed in episode 4, he's kind of the hero of the episode. He really does take center stage there a lot. The doctor does some of the mental stuff, but Toberman too, not only doing the physical attacks, but the fact he's able to overcome that cyber programming tells you he's not weak-brained or weak-minded either. He's pretty intelligent, and he realizes how evil those creatures are and that they can't get out, and he purposely sacrifices himself to stop them from getting out. I actually think, especially for like 1966, 67, that's actually portraying, you know, an African character in a very strong light there in that final part especially. So I am actually impressed how he takes center stage and saves them no less than 3 times in that episode, plus overcoming cyber programming. I think it's actually really impressive, and I think a very good portrayal. I think the character is written well, and the actor playing him performs the role well, and he's directed well. I don't agree with a lot of people who look at it through 2022 eyes and are like, oh, I can't stand when they do that kind of thing. I'm like, he's kind of the hero here at the end, y'all. You don't like him being cast in a good light? Young people. The set design is still a bit problematic. It just feels confined. I don't know why the sets bother me in this story more so than some others. They're a bit plain. That main room seems small. It's not really small, but it seems small. And it's very boring. I get very bored watching it. I did enjoy, like, the German guy and the German woman kind of getting their comeuppance. And the woman's death scene's really well done. The actress does a good job when she gets hit by the... I like the fact she goes out fighting, too. when the cyber controller's like, raise the lid, she's like, no. And when he raises the lid and walks over, she lowers it back down and then pulls out that pistol and tries shooting him with it a couple times. I like that. I give her props for that. She stood her ground. And then when she gets shot, the smoke coming off her body as he falls, which is... She actually falls in a pretty good manner. You know, some of those classic Who deaths do tend to take a while for them to reach the floor. Oh! Oh, you know, she actually goes down pretty well for a classic Who death, especially with that cool smoke effect coming off of her. Pretty impressively done. I did enjoy that. I actually like how they changed to the dummy when Toberman and the Cyber Controller are fighting. You see them start wrestling and they go off camera slightly, and then Toberman comes back into camera, and he's obviously holding a dummy. It's very obviously a dummy that he throws against the machine. And then, of course, it cuts back to the Cyberman on the ground, and that's actually, of course, the actual Cyber Controller back in the suit. But the way they cut to the dummy with them going off screen for a few seconds and then him coming back on holding it, I thought that was pretty well directed. I actually like that, even though it's very obviously a dummy he's holding. But then the cut to the Cyberman on the ground, and it's, of course, being the actor Michael back in the suit, was also a pretty good cut. I like the effect of the Doctor refreezing everything and the Cybermen going back into hibernation, especially the plastic sealing back up, since it probably just is the footage rewound of them getting out. I like how it actually seals back up and then everything refreezes. That whole effect of when they're thawing out and when they're refreezing, it's a very impressive effect, really well done. The actual thawing and then them slowly waking up and moving around and coming out, that is one of the standout iconic scenes of the story. Both times it happens. It's pretty impressive. I wish we'd had a little more location work because the scenery gets a little boring. My problem with Tomb is, well, I've said before Tomb is overrated, and it is. Now, I was watching the special edition that Ian had sent me. I had the original release, but I liked getting the special edition because it does look better because, excuse me, the original version had not been run through the vidfire process, whereas the special edition had been run through the vidfire process. So it has a more video look to it, whereas the original had a more film look to it. And that makes it look more like its original transmission would have looked, and I like that. It does look cleaned up too, and it sounds cleaned up as well. I mentioned in my last review for part 3 that as much as I love the scene when the Doctor and Victoria are talking about her dad, it's a beautiful scene. There was a little incidental music going on I hadn't picked up on before that was a little distracting and irksome, and they need to just tone that out because the actual conversation itself is just gold and doesn't need any music. Some of the plot is weird. Like, there's a lot of plot convenience in this story. Like, how can they not notice there's something wrong with Toberman at the beginning? I mean, I get he's kind of the silent, stoic type anyway, but you think they'd have picked up on it because it's kind of obvious, but the plot needs them to not notice until it's too late. That's also right before the German guy gets knocked out by him. That's the first time he sets the gun down, the little cyber gun he's using. He's holding it the whole time until the plot needs him not to be holding it. Back when Toberman knocks him down. And so he turns around and sets it on there. There is a lot of times where people set guns down for no reason at the worst time. Kind of like when Vicky in one part sets the gun way over here, and then afterwards they all go way over here so the German woman can run over there and get the gun and hold them at gunpoint again. And then they lock them in the room, the German man and woman, which I'm assuming they're German, I don't know. I forget, I'm not good with names. They lock them in the room where the first guy got killed, which is where the cyber gun is. It just happens to be there. There's a lot of convenience in this, plot convenience in this one, where things happen because that's when we need them to happen. The Cyberman wakes up and grabs, Klieg, is that his name, the German guy, right there at the end, right when he's about to shoot the Doctor. Well, right when he's saying, "I let the Cybermen deal with you." Of course, the Doctor could have been playing for time on that for him to get up and grab him. There's a lot of that. Weapons being left at the wrong time. Klieg again leaving the pistol right here, right when Toberman's gonna attack him, and he never lets it out of his hand. I wouldn't either, man. I'd have that gun. I'd be holding it the whole time. I wouldn't set it down. Somebody else might reach over and snatch it up. We see that, like I said, 2 or 3 times in this story with guns. My mind's kind of blanking. I'm telling you, this story is like, I remember the cliff notes of this story. To me, Tomb of the Cybermen is a bit forgettable. I remember the cliff notes of it, the highlights of it. I don't remember the whole story. Part of that's just my memory. Part of that's just the story is extremely overrated. It's a good story. I like Tomb of the Cybermen, but one of the reasons it's considered such a good story is it's one of the few Troughton stories that's complete. I think the Moon Base is a better story. I think the Invasion is a better story. I think the Mine Robber is a better story. I'd have to rewatch Crotons, because I actually think Crotons is vastly underrated. I need to rewatch Crotons before I say Crotons is a better story. But Tomb is definitely overrated. It's good. It's got its great moments. It's got a good cast. But I've never cared for that cyber design. I really don't care for those Cybermen voices. They irk me so much. I can't actually understand what they're saying in the special edition, though, to be fair. But they still irk me. I don't really care for the voices. So yeah, I enjoyed my watch through of it, but I think it'll be a while before I watch Tomb again. I'm always a little disappointed with it, because it doesn't live up to its reputation, like most of Season 5, to be fair. But this one is more so. Like, Web of Fear is still, like, great. Enemy of the World is still really good. Tomb is good. I don't know, really good maybe. Fear from the Deep is just the animation's crap. Ice Warriors is just, God, it's too long and boring. Even though I like Ice Warriors. And I've never seen Wheel in Space. I don't know, I hear Wheel in Space is the weakest of Troughton's Cyberman stories. That's depressing to think there might be one that's worse than Tomb of the Cybermen. But I like Tomb of the Cybermen. I don't want people to think I dislike it. I enjoy it. It's got some really good moments in it. It's just, people seem to think of it as up here and as Troughton's best Cyberman story, and I don't get it. Other than the fact it's complete and the others aren't, I don't get it. So, Tomb of the Cybermen. I would like to know what you think of it. Have you seen the special edition of it? Do you prefer it to the original release, as it is closer to the original broadcast quality? So let me know what you think. I want to thank Ian for sending it to me. I really appreciate being able to watch it and see it cleaned up and looking better. And it is just nice to revisit the story. Other things to do, click the like button and the subscribe button. That helps me grow the channel, and I really appreciate that. I also have a Patreon if you like what I do and would like to support what I do. There's a link to that down in the description below. I want to give a shout out to two of my top tier patrons, the Fifth Doctor and Stephen Crane. I appreciate their continued support, just as I do the support of all of my patrons. I also have a P.O. box if there's anything you would like to send me, and a link to my Amazon wish list down in the description below as well. I update it regularly. Most importantly, though, thank you for watching.